Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Real Sports Scope on this 28th day. November. I hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving. I did. Hopefully, Matt New Yorker will be here shortly. We'll be going over those Thanksgiving games and also the biggest games in college and NFL this weekend. I've combined them too, since so many games are being played today and so many were played yesterday. I did like the five biggest games. Of course, we got Ohio State, Michigan in the college game, Buffalo, Pittsburgh Steelers in the NFL. Actually, Pittsburgh's involved in two big games with the University of Pittsburgh playing Miami tomorrow as well. We'll continue this big sports week, and there's some good NBA games on today. Actually, there's some good games on. Kind of like to see that Mavs game and Lakers game tonight as well. So stand by. We'll take our first and only break, and we'll be back here shortly. Hopefully, the Mad New Yorker will be back when after we take our break, and we'll hit the ground running here on the Real Sports Scope. Hello, Sports Scope followers. The program has seen tremendous growth since going 5 days a week. I just wanted to thank everybody for your cash contributions and sharing the program with friends and families. Just a reminder, if you want to contribute to the program, go to the Cash App, the cash sign, and Sports Scope. There are other ways to contribute to the program listed at the bottom of the screen. If you want to advertise on the program, go to sports, that is sports with an S, another S, scope, SKOPE, at gmail.com, just like it's listed at the bottom of the screen. Thank you and enjoy the program. All righty, then it looks like we've got the Mad New York. Big crowd tonight. Big crowd.
What up?
Hey, hope you had a good Thanksgiving, man. But how you doing tonight there, brother?
Man, it's crazy. It's been busy. You know how it is in the holiday seasons and things come up. So everything's good though, man. How about you? How was your break?
It was good. It's good. Still happening. Having a good time. Watching a lot of great games. You know something? There's usually like maybe one or two good games on the Thanksgiving holiday, but I just think there's more to come, and there's been a lot of great games so far with the NFL and college football this far. Have you ever seen a week where Thursday and Friday? I know that NFL's added a game now this year, where there's had so many good games in just 2 days in the middle of a holiday. Can you remember a time?
Well, I mean, recently they've been added that this Black Friday game, but we used to have to wait like for the end of the week to after Thanksgiving to see more games, right?
Yeah.
Remember, it used to be one game, and then they slowly added two games. Now it's three games, and then a Friday game. So it's just a lot. It's a lot going on.
And
A
then you
lot
got the college games
the
too.
college games tonight as well. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's been crazy, but it's fun and it's a lot of good football going on. A lot of teams being competitive and trying to get into the playoffs. So it's good. Uh,
Yeah.
so it's terrible for people trying to make predictions and make picks because you thinking that. I mean,
It's hard to get a feel for these short week games, which team is going to show up. I did want to talk about this past game in the NFL because it relates back to the game we picked last week, the Cowboys and the Eagles. The Bears go up to Philadelphia, beat the Eagles this afternoon. And, I made some notes here. I heard this on the Colin Cowherd show about a week ago about Jalen Hurts. He's referring to a report from a Philadelphia Eagles beat reporter stating that Jalen Hurts, a lot like Russell Wilson in the Sean Payton situation, where he takes the play in from the offensive coordinator and he totally goes off script every single play. And they've been so successful over the past a couple of years with Hurts. He probably done that with the other coordinator. But hey, if you're winning, who's going to make a big deal of it?
Right.
But if you're losing, it starts to become a big deal. We saw it fall out. Now, of course, back when Russell Wilson had the issue with Sean Payton, uh, Wilson was past his prime. He's in his 30s at this point. Jalen Hurts still in his 20s, looking more like the Russell Wilson that played with the Seahawks back in 2010, 11, and 12. This will become an issue. As I mentioned to you last week, that Hurts is 5-9, was 5-9 when Lane Johnson, the right tackle, does not play. So he can't freelance as much. He has less time to freelance like he does. And of course, two losses later since the last time we've been on here, now he is 5-11 without Lane Johnson. And now more people's going to pay attention to what that beat writer says with that source within that locker room, that he's going off script. And now they're starting to lose games. They're only a game and a half up on the Cowboys, who is another story. We'll talk about them in a minute. What's your thoughts on their problems on their latest 2-game losing streak for the Philadelphia Eagles? And somebody's commenting.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't know what's going on in Philadelphia as far as like if they're going off the script or not. It doesn't matter. They play the way that they're playing the game has changed. Their defense right now is the only thing that looks like is competitive and got edgy. Their offense is not edgy at all. They're not smashing the ball like they were last year, like through the offensive lines and getting into the secondary to defense at all. Um, Saquon doesn't have that many carries compared to last year. Has less yards so far. Even Hurts isn't running the ball as much and he has less yards than last year. And if you don't use those guys, look, I know last year happened, and maybe some teams have made adjustments. Who knows? But it just doesn't look like the offense is clicking. They sometimes go and try just throwing the ball one game, and then the next game they try running the ball. But there's no combination, there's no mix and match, there's no creativity going on, and that's hurting them, I think. You know, because Hertz is the one thing that he's doing that seems consistent is that he's not giving away the ball. He's throwing the ball away. He's not fumbling. He's doing all the things he needs to protect the ball and give them opportunities. But the one thing that's not happening is Saquon's not getting the ball as much as he should. And even Jalen Hurts will run 2 or 3. You saw the game today during the Bears. He ran about 2 or 3 yards and then he just kind of quit and was like, let me just fall forward. That's not the Jalen Hurts running game that we saw last year or the 2 years prior to that. So, or even the Super Bowl, even when they didn't make it, like his rookie seasons, like that's not Jalen Hurts being assertive in the run game. He doesn't have to be like Josh Allen, or he doesn't have to do what Caleb Williams does. But I mean, if you're already running forward, get the extra 2 or 3 yards that your body allows you to take. You're only getting hit by some of these cornerbacks that weigh like half the weight that you do anyway. So you're not running through linemen anymore. You're already at the secondary. So just take the two, take the 2 to 4 yards that's there. But they're not doing that.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure what it is. I feel like they still don't have an identity in the offense, and you don't know what you're going to get, and that's not good. And that has been consistent for the last few weeks, and that today Chicago took advantage of that, for sure.
Yeah, the
And
Bears
yeah, and
leading
that
the
def-
NFC North. Yeah.
and that defense for the Bears looks for real. But I'm not going to jump on that train because every time I try to be positive about the Bears, they turn around and end up hibernating a little too soon and not be able to make it a playoff. So I'm not jumping on that train. The that that division is so inconsistent and so bad that no matter who you're a fan of, you might make it to the playoffs, but you're just gonna make it to the first round. So,
Oh, the
um,
North. Yeah.
yeah, the NFC North. So, yeah, whatever. Like I'm just. But the Eagles. It's disappointing because that offense has so much potential. And even not take the run game aside. Let's just say you
Yeah.
don't try to make a. You have Brown, you have Smith. You got a lot of guys there that could grab the ball, and Jalen's still throwing the ball away, or he's not making the passes that he needs to make. So, I'm not sure what's going on over there. I'm not sure where that confidence is at, and I'm not sure why they can't score more points. But you need them to score 27 plus points, and they're not doing it.
No, they're not. And I wanted to say that the Bears got their lead corner. Make sure I got this guy's name right. Jalen Johnson back today, and that's a big one. He had been out for most of the season, if not all the season. Um, yeah, Jalen Johnson did come back to that. I'll double check and making sure I had that. He had like one tackle or something. But it's a very good corner. They've had a lot of secondary players out most of the season, the Bears have. So the Bears are getting healthy at the right time. I saw this coming in the offseason. They had a flood of new players coming in, star players, high draft picks between tight end, defense there, added an extra wide receiver there with, Luther Burton there at the receiving core. I said they'd go about 6-11, but out of those 11 losses, I said they'd be in a lot of those games. They would be, and Ben Johnson would be the answer. And right now, hey, this year it's a battle of attrition. As you folks watch the program and we break down some of these games, there's just a lot of injuries right now. And the healthiest team may be the team that wins the Super Bowl this year. And the Bears are getting healthy at the right time. There's nothing like timing. You're on third and fourth string players, particularly the Lions are on like a backup center and then a backup to the backup. Now they got a center coming out of retirement, Frank Ragnew's going to come. He's already out of retirement. He's got to get in football shape, So how long is it going to take for him to get back up to par? But they need a guy like that. So that's great news for Lions fans. They're still in it mathematically, but you just look around the league. You got guys coming out, you got guys coming back. It's just hard to see. As far as the Eagles are concerned, yeah, they got to get back to running. I don't know why they extended Saquon Barkley after acquiring him initially. They gave him the contract. They had the great year, the 2,000-something yards. Why extend two wide receivers? A.J. Brown had a good game today. Jalen Hurts needs to stop going off script so much. That is annoying. I said this about with Russell Wilson, going back to that with Sean Payton. You work on a play all week, or you work on a whole game plan all week, and you're an offensive coordinator, and you got your passing game coordinators, which the current coordinator has been the passing game coordinator for the Eagles for the past 2 years. I was listening to that today. They were talking about that on the broadcast there. And you can't just go completely off script like that. You're being disrespectful to not only the coaching staff, but to your teammates. So that's something he's got to work on. That's always been a knock on him anyways. He couldn't make his second read. He is so far succeeded my expectations from the guy who played college football at Alabama and then transferred to Oklahoma. I think he can get it back together. I'm not totally writing that team off now, but I do think that they're definitely not the best team, and they got a shot to possibly fall out of the. There's a potential of them to fall out of the NFC East lead there, and the freaking Cowboys of all teams can catch them, and that's a good transition. Cowboys beat them, come back 21 down, and 24 unanswered, and beat them. They tightened their run defense up with Quentin Williams. And there was a report today. This is what Jerry Jones said. Jerry Jones, who's kind of crazy, but he said that he offered the Jets in the preseason a first-round pick and Michael Parsons for Quentin Williams before the season started. So that would have been great for the for the Jets there. But since this acquiring their run defense really good there, and they got this guy second round pick back, and then they turn around and beat the Kansas City Chiefs and in fashion there at home. They're a little bit on the road. The Cowboy fans got to be a little bit on cloud nine right now since they got a top 5 offense. Very impressed with the Cowboys. I don't know how far they can go, but it feels like that the locker room got better without Micah there, and the run defense got better as well. I don't know about paying George Pickens a big chunk of money that he's having this great year. I think that's going to be insane in the membrane, but I know that's what Jerry Jones is going to do. That's what he's going to do. I guarantee it's what he's going to do. I could see it. What's your thoughts about that big win yesterday? Probably 45 to 50 million people watched Dallas beat the Kansas City Chiefs. Great game, though.
Yeah, I'm surprised and just shocked that.
Speak up, Chief. You're fading out a little bit, man.
Yeah, no, can you hear me?
Nah, it's a little fuzzy.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of static feedback. Hold on a second.
Okay, it's still kind of staticky, brother.
Get out and get in.
Okay, try it back again because you're fading out and everything. Carlos is having technical difficulties, and I think he's going to try to come back on. Very impressive win from the Cowboys' perspective. The Chiefs, listen, their defense, folks, has not been the same. That's the third 30-point game that they put up on the road. The defense has given up. Excuse me. You saw the Buffalo Bill game a few weeks back. Then, of course, a few weeks before that, we saw the road game against the Jaguars, who is consistently inconsistent of a football team. They're just not there. I said this a few weeks ago. That it's simply this Chiefs team needs to reboot. They've got to get younger on the defensive side of the ball. I know Kelsey's been having a pretty decent games. They've got to get younger there. They've got to get a consistent running game. Although, look, they had a few good runs yesterday out of Kareem Hunt. They've got to get back to the basics with the guard play and the tackle play and the running game, and not put everything on Patrick Mahomes. He can only do so much. He's getting a little older now. Do you really want your run game to run through Patrick Mahomes? Get a good, solid running game like a 49ers got with McCaffrey there, something of that nature there. And let's see if we can bring in the Madden over. Hey,
what's up? Can you hear me?
All right, yeah. Now you're real loud.
Yeah, I got a lot of stuff going on over there. So, yeah. So
that's good. Okay,
look, this Pickens thing he's doing a good job being in Dallas. I wouldn't put any stock into that too much yet. You know, give him maybe 2 years and then maybe extend him. But I'm just surprised.
Oh, you're saying maybe franchise him?
No, I wouldn't.
Well, he's in a contract year this year. Do you franchise him or you let him walk?
You have, because what he's done, you got to franchise him. You have to.
Yeah, he's killing it on the field.
Yeah, because and then another thing is that if somebody's offering a bigger price for him, then you let him walk, right? But this Cowboy team is like one of those teams that are up and down, man, and it's kind of crazy that a team like the Kansas City Chiefs, the two teams that should have been able to do well this weekend totally bit it. And that was the Ravens and the Kansas City Chiefs, and it's going to be a toss-up to see which one of those two will end up making the AFC Championship playoffs. Playoffs for the championship. So, I can't.
What's your thoughts on the Chiefs? Don't you think they simply just need to reboot a lot and get younger defensively and just a few younger spots with higher draft picks and free agents?
I don't think the Chiefs are that far off. I think it's just the injuries that they had coming back from the injuries. Like the whole Pacheco thing, the running game needs to be a little bit tighter for them to be able to do more. And everybody knows that Travis Kelce is a safety blanket for Mahomes. So, he needs the ball less. He needs less targets now because everybody knows that he's double covered. And so on that third down, he's double covered and he's not gonna be able to do much. So you gotta have a better running game, and you gotta get the little guys going. And it's just they're not doing it right. They're not playing up to their potential at the end of the day. And you gotta score 27 plus points, man. You got no matter how you do it. And I mean, Mahomes tried. The Chiefs are coming back. They just didn't have enough.
Well, they scored 28, and when you was getting your sound thing situated, I told this to the audience here. On the road defensively, this is the third game where they've given up over 30 points.
Yeah,
Jacksonville, Buffalo, and now at Dallas there, and that seems to be the trigger mark for a Kansas City loss, is giving up 30 points on the road. And of course, they did lose. Still need some speed there. Still got to run the ball better and tighten that offensive lineup. And like I said the other day, this team has been picking 28 to 32 since 2018. They need higher draft picks, you know?
Well, they were able to move guys and get number one type players.
Yeah, they moved Orlando Brown and Tyreek Hill.
So they're able to make some moves, but the number one draft picks don't always pan out anyways. They're at a good Kansas City's at a good spot. It's not the players.
Oh, it's not over. I'm just saying that they have some problems. I don't think they're going to go far this year. You know.
Yeah, I think their defense isn't. How can I say? This is the same thing that the Eagles are struggling with. They don't have that extra punch. They don't have that grittiness. Their defense is missing grittiness. Their defense is missing a little bit, to get nasty a little bit, to get down and instead of allowing these third and short situations, they need to get to the quarterback of the up, and do things. And the secondary is not supporting when they try. There's just no balance, man. So, but I feel like the potential's there. The players are there right now. They got to get that running game. Their running game, the one thing that the Chiefs have always done for their defense is make sure they give them rested. And when the Chiefs offense don't have that running game going, the defense isn't resting, and you could see that now. And now the teams are dragging it out a little bit on them and making the defense look like they're not that good. When at the end they're still young, they're still fast, but not if there's not a running game for the Chiefs, man. And that's important for the Chiefs. And I think they know that teams know that the running game isn't strong enough. So they get them going and they stretch them out and they play keep away, but the Chiefs they gotta understand what's going on. They need to be able to make adjustments, man, and they're not doing that.
Yeah,
but it's hard to make an adjustment when you just got off the field and now you got to walk back on there because they went third and long and then they try for and they're not gonna go. The Chiefs thing, and they're not gonna do a fourth and short and run it. They're like a fourth and long and run it. They're gonna punt it. So your defense is on the field longer than it needs to be. So,
yeah, they just again they just simply need to retool a little bit, and I ain't saying rebuild. Just add a few pieces here, get a little younger in some spots, and upgrade. They know that. Look at the run they've been on. It's such an impressive run the Chiefs have done. It's unbelievable, man. Okay, Cincinnati. You mentioned that. Get Joe Burrow back. Brings a little bit of energy there.
A little bit of energy? That's a different team.
Yeah. That's what I said there on the Facebook and the X app. It's like he puts a shot into the defense. The defense causes turnovers. They got a turnover there. I'm going to say it was either from Lamar Jackson. I think it was from Lamar Jackson. But the big one was against Isaiah Likely in the end zone there as a touchback. A touchdown goes for a touchback. Kind of reminds me of the turnover that who was the other tight end there? Andrews did in the playoff game against Buffalo last year. That was crucial there. You could tell Lamar's just not he's about 60%.
Right,
he's got ankle. He's got all kinds of injuries. He's just got everything messed up with him. And like you said.
But again, Robert, this is the same thing that the Chiefs aren't doing. That he came in that Joe Burrow came in and was able to do for the defense. They were running the ball, they throwing the ball, first downs. They're able to control the clock. The defense got rest. The defense, this Bengals defense is rated in the bottom 20s and 30s of the NFL. Joe Burrow comes in.
This was more about Cincinnati, what they did do, rather than what Baltimore did not do.
Right, again, the defense
was aggressive yesterday, and
they could because Joe Burrow was there controlling the whole offense. It gave him balance. He went in there. They were on the freaking 2-yard line, and the Ravens weren't able to capitalize. Joe Burrow goes and throws 20 yards. Like,
Yeah.
You can't. There's no adjustment you can be made for Joe Burrow in the way he was running the offense and the way he was able to keep the defense on the field longer than they should have been, right?
Yeah. They're mathematically still at 4-8. They're mathematically, if that don't get your, if you got a road win at Baltimore, that don't help your confidence. Nothing will help your confidence.
And
he's saving Zach Taylor's job right now.
And listen, in this Ravens defense, they tried. They made a few plays in there to stay in the game. The offense couldn't score because the other defense was playing better than
over their head.
It was crazy. Like it just seemed like Cincinnati was the better team going in and playing this game, and that's not even what it is. Like number wise, anybody who bet for the Ravens to win this game.
Yeah, I was one of those people. I had a great parlay where I had Rashid Rice, 90 yards. I had Dallas +7, and I had the over in the Cowboy game, which all that happened. I'm thinking, okay, I got this in the bag. All I need is the Ravens to win by 3, and Cincinnati comes out like gangbusters, and you could see their confidence getting better. The more Joe Burrow stays on the field, they start to get their swag up more and more. And I'm like, wow, they're beating them.
You know who I felt bad for? I felt bad for Joe Burrow because Jamar Chase didn't know what to do. Like he dropped 2 balls that were like literally in his hand. Like he dropped the ball.
Still got over 100 yards in that.
And yeah. So imagine if Jamar Chase was like focused and was always on the same page as Joe Burrow from the get. He was surprised the ball came to him. I was like, what? Like this usually happens to you during the regular season, but Joe Burrow hadn't been there.
That was a little bit of a timing issue because Burrow had played it.
I'm telling you, this game, it looked like the Bengals could have won this game 38-14, and we would have been like, what's going on? Joe Burrow makes such a huge difference for both the offense and the defense. How is this defense ranked in the 30s and was able to take care of Baltimore like it was nothing? Like
right, it was like 2 different teams there. It was not. This game was played in Baltimore. That's what
Baltimore. Baltimore had like what 5 turnovers, 6 turnovers.
It was a bunch, man. I'm not gonna go back in the stat line.
Yeah, so if you look at it, they had it was like maybe 6.
32-14. I mean, that is just
they couldn't score. I feel bad because the thing was that they were still kind of in the game and they just couldn't score. Where they usually
turnovers. You're correct. If you took Cincinnati's defense, you did pretty good.
So even like oh my god, like this guy running and walking.
That Isaiah Likely one though. I mean, you're going in for a touchdown and the guy punches out of your hand. He goes through the freaking end zone. That's the most annoying turnover on the planet.
Those turnovers. Here's the thing. Let's do a situational. If the Ravens only had 2 turnovers, how much more do you think the game would have been different?
Oh, they'd probably win, even though it's 32 points. I mean,
the Ravens would win this game if they only had 2 turnovers.
Yeah, -3. If one of those turnovers is not that likely turnover, because you're adding, that's a 14-point turnaround.
But the thing was the Cincinnati Bengals were kicking field goals anyways.
Yeah, the defense did the best they could do.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know. I don't listen. I was watching this game, and I'm gonna be honest. I had a little bit of drink, and I thought I was, I thought I was maybe imagining what was going on.
I know, right. Yeah.
And you just sit, and I'm like, I'm full. I'm already like turkey full. I'm dinner full, and I'm just like, so I literally watched half of this game over again on replay because I wanted to see what was going on and make sure I wasn't my eyes. It looked like 2 playoff teams going against each other, and one team looked like they were just getting everybody back, and the other team looked like the Cincinnati Bengals play like
the Ravens looked like they just got done eating Thanksgiving, and they were
it looked like the Bengals were like 10-2, and the Ravens were like maybe trying to sniff a playoff spot at 10 and whatever. Like, it was terrible for the Ravens.
No, the Ravens looked like the team that was had the Bengals record, and the Bengals looked like the team that had the Ravens record.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean,
so all that luck there. Now you got Pittsburgh back in first place. Now, of course, they lost last week to the Bears. We called that particular game there. Let's see if there's anything from last week that we should recap. We'll have to skip a few since we got caught up. And let's see. I'm looking here. Do you have any thoughts about
did you watch the Green Bay game?
Tampa losing to the Rams? Do you have any thoughts about that game? It looks like
There's nothing to think about, man. The Tampa Bay came out so flat. LA looked like it looked like one of those scrimmages where it was like, let's get a Super Bowl champion and let them scrimmage a football team that doesn't have.
Yeah.
I don't know what was going on with Tampa Bay. I'm not sure what it is that they've been doing for the last three games. I don't even think it's a Baker issue, to be honest with you.
Well, he got hurt in that game, so now you got Teddy Bridgewater there.
Yeah, but even before he got hurt, like the game was already over. I don't want to hear stuff about that. Him not being in the game affected it that much.
No. Stafford, like I told you, he destroyed that Bowles defense. You know, Devontae Adams 2 touchdowns there. Just like I told you, it's 28 points average a game. Now he's 4-1 against Todd Bowles' defense. They were clicking on all 8. They look like a team the best team in the NFL.
They did for that night look like the best team in the NFL, and I'm not a big Rams fan, but that team is dangerous. That team has a lot of power. Like they were running the ball and they were catching. Like they were well balanced. The defense was playing well. I just as a Tampa Bay, like what were you doing? What did you do? What were you trying to do? Because it didn't look like there was any adjustments that were trying to be made there. And it just
totally outclassed. Maybe they were playing over their head.
I feel like when the Raiders played team, and you're like the Raiders don't have a chance, and it just looked like bad. It looked terrible.
Yeah, but fortunately, somebody's got to win the NFC South. Whether it's going to be Carolina or Tampa. Even Atlanta's technically in it. They beat the Saints last week. The winner of that division may be under 500. That's happened before.
The Jaguars will probably win at the end. Who knows?
That's the way the league is set up. So skipping around, not get to that due to time issues. Going to the college game, you did have this game right. Technically, I'm up 2 now. The Tennessee Vols go on the road, first win in 20 years in Gainesville, and do it in dominant fashion. What's your thoughts about Tennessee beating Florida? Very impressive win there.
Very impressive. It was sad to see Gator Nation all like.
If you're in Tennessee Nation, you're not.
Yeah, they left the stadium like before the third quarter ended. Like it was crazy to see that.
Now, how many times has Tennessee been on the other end of that?
Right.
Back when Urban Meyer was with Florida, and they were beat Tennessee 52-17. You know.
Oh man, look, I remember the Auburn game where they had Campbell and Cadillac and
like 38-0 or something.
Yeah, I was in Knoxville. I was in the stadium. And I was looking around like maybe I should leave too. Like, but that Gainesville game. And you saw our band was loud, and all you heard was them just playing, and it was strange, man. But you know what? They deserve to be in that situation. Tennessee deserved to win that game, and Florida just is. I feel bad for the players. You know, they got a nice core young group, and they got a nice core of older players. I feel bad for the older players because this is their, the swan song, and it just didn't work out for them, man. Some of these guys transferred from other schools. I think a couple transferred for Tennessee. Those guys from Florida State, Miami, and they thought they was going to do it big in the SEC, and it just didn't work out for them. And I feel bad for those guys. And
well, I don't feel bad. I think they quit. I think they it looks like the effort wasn't there. This interim coach is not going to get that job. Or came out reported today that Florida is bailed on Lane Kiffin. They're going to pursue this John Summerall guy, I want to say his name, the Tulane coach, perhaps. Kiffin haven't made his decision yet, which I think he should stay at Ole Miss. I mean, I just can't see. By the way, they're very highly likely to get into the playoff. Can you imagine? You go 11-1 or whatever the record is, 10-1, whatever, and they're a few plays away from being undefeated at Ole Miss, getting into the playoff, and then you want to take a job in your conference after building this program up. It just feels foolish, that angle.
Listen, if Lane Kiffin ain't done anything in his career, has been making moves to make himself feel good. So,
right, this would be a bad look for Lane Kiffin to move at this point,
And then he left Tennessee when he got like one of the best quarterbacks that was
he
available.
had a big commitment at Tennessee, and then USC started back. They bailing off of or people were telling them no, and he was like fifth on the list, and he's still like 37, 30. He's still kind of young there, and then he bolts Tennessee in the middle of the night for USC, and it blows up in his face. He should really learn from that. Being close to 50, if not 50, I don't know how old Kiffin is. He's still kind of young. I was watching today, he changed his diet. You could tell he's thinned down and everything. And it just seems like it would be a foolish move to go to LSU at this point, especially if what I'm hearing is true, that the money's the same there. It's the same as Ole Miss versus LSU. Is the NIL budget the same?
Yeah,
I don't know. We can figure all that out.
That coaching money might be the same, but the viewership, the amount of times they're on TV, all that is different. And that guy, he likes to be in the limelight, man. So we'll see.
It seems like it would backfire on him if he stays there. I mean, what kind of boost? What would that do to his reputation in recruiting and everything else if he bolts now when he got this team? So do you leave now? Do you just not coach this team in the playoff? And this is not a great year in the playoff. They can actually make some noise and go somewhere,
Yeah, I feel like now with NIL, it doesn't matter what the coach chooses to do. But a guy like Lane Kiffin, man, you can't put it past anything that he won't do anything for himself. Because that's what he's proven.
If he takes it, it tells you he's a selfish guy.
He's always. I don't think anybody sees him as any different.
He's not changed.
I don't think it's that he has not
changed his stripes.
It's not that he hasn't changed. It's that there has been less opportunities than before. Now there's a lot more opportunities. So if he wants to do it, he can do it because it's available, right?
Yeah.
So
going back to the Tennessee-Florida game, not to go too far off base there, but that was one of probably the most flawless game of the year for the Vols. Although it was a bad Florida team, Florida's always played Tennessee well. That was a big mental hurdle. It was a road win. They only gave up 11 points on the defensive side of the ball. Very impressed win. Tennessee really don't have, air quote, impressive wins this year. They have one impressive loss, and that was to Georgia after they should have beat them in regulation, if not for that missed field goal there, per se. But Florida, they'll bounce back. They'll go out and get them another coach here. Maybe they'll get that John Summerall guy from Tulane or somebody else. Kiffin would be a good fit there rather than LSU, but I think he should stay at Ole Miss, and I think Florida will eventually find their guy. Florida's a good job. They get good talent. I would actually try to get the Louisville coach, but I don't think he's even being mentioned for that particular job. Since we're in the college game and we're talking about Tennessee, we might as well do things a little backwards and transition into the college. We could do the college games first and then do the NFL games. Only since 5 games this week total, folks, because we just talked about all the big games that have already been played. Vanderbilt is 2 losses. They can get into the playoff with a little bit of help if they go on the road and beat Tennessee. I work for Vanderbilt I do carrier work for them. My company contracts with them. One of the clinics I pick up at is on 25th Avenue behind the stadium. Vanderbilt was pumping in crowd noise and practicing this past week. I want to say Tuesday or Wednesday. And I put a video of that on my TikTok account. them pumping in crowd noises, doing 4th and 20 plays and everything. I think this will be a good game, man. This will be a very good game. Vanderbilt, very close to Tennessee on the offensive standpoint as far as the SEC rankings, and they're much better defensively. If you looked at it that way, you say maybe Vanderbilt wins, but I say Tennessee's playing so good at home right now. The way they got to be feeling good about themselves after that big win from a psychological standpoint of beating Florida in Gainesville. And I made some notes that Diego Pave has joined Joey Aguilar, according on 3, and trying to possibly get another year of eligibility, taking the NCAA to court again, both trying to play next year in some kind of lawsuit. The over and under this game is 66 points. That's a big number. Don't know if that's going to hit there. I like Tennessee still to win at home, 31-23. This will be a good game tomorrow at 3:30 Eastern in Neyland Stadium. If this were here in Nashville, I might take Vanderbilt this year. I think they're better than they were last year. What do you think about Tennessee Vanderbilt? Tennessee would be a long shot for them to get in the playoff, but they want this in-state win to help their resume for the 2025 season. What's your thoughts on that game, man?
Look, kudos Vanderbilt. They've done a great job. They've played a great season. I think tomorrow ends their streak, and then they're going to end up with the same record as Tennessee, right? They're going to be 5-3, both teams.
9-3 or whatever, yeah.
5-3. So, and then they're whatever. The only takeaway from this is that they, at the end of the day, they both fell short when they needed to be the top team in the division, in the conference, and both teams lack that. So this is a toss-up win. Either team that wins, they're.
And it's a 2.5 point spread. So Vegas says this will be a field goal game.
Yeah. I believe it. I think it's going to be a kicking game myself too. And but it's in Neyland, so I just feel like Tennessee has the edge there. They're coming back home. Everybody's excited. They're going to see the orange and white. You're going to Vanderbilt doesn't play that well away, so it's going to be a close game. The weather's going to what's the weather down there right now?
It's pretty good. I mean, it's going to be cold. The whole state's cooled down.
Yeah, it's not raining, so it's not
raining. Nothing.
So both teams are going to have an opportunity to win out. And I feel like this game is going to be 32-27, and whoever it's a toss-up. Whoever kicks the last field goal is going to win this game.
You're gonna pick Tennessee to win.
I think Tennessee has the advantage, So
yeah. This other game is very important. Miami and Pittsburgh, University of Pittsburgh, Miami. They both have a shot to win the ACC. For the Hurricanes to make the ACC championship, they got to beat Pittsburgh, and let's see, at least 2 of the following 3 teams must lose: Duke to Wake Forest, SMU to Cal, or Virginia to Virginia Tech. But they're ranked 12th in the country, so they're very much in it. A win would really help their resume to get into the playoff. They've had 2 losses mid-season here. I want to say one at SMU and Virginia or somebody. I can't remember who else they lost to. But either way, it wasn't good for Miami. The Notre Dame win doesn't look as good. But Pittsburgh beat Georgia Tech last week. Pittsburgh's a pretty tough team. Same thing with Pittsburgh. They would need a little help to get in the ACC championship game. Miami 6.5 point favorites here. I think you got Carson Beck, a senior, versus Mason Hitchmichael. He's a freshman at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's still a pretty good team, so they got a pretty bright future with this guy. But I like Miami to get the road win 27-20. This would be terrible if they find a way to lose this game. I don't think Pittsburgh can play 2 great high-level games in a row. Matter of fact, it's 3 because they had Notre Dame the week before that, which they lost that game. Miami gets the road win, and they get into the playoff 27-20. What's your thoughts on that game?
Yeah, Miami, they're the heat. They're the hot team, man. They got the heat on their side. Both
It's
The
played in
way-
Pittsburgh, though. You mean
Yeah, I know, and the thing is that they still gonna. I feel like they still probably gonna have the advantage. You know, Pittsburgh's 4-2 at home, 4-1 away. So
Yeah.
you know they're pretty much an average, you know, team this year with their away and home records. So, but I feel like Miami right now has the upper hand with the depth that they have compared to Pittsburgh's depth.
Yes.
So I think that's where you're going to see a difference. You're going to see the defense be able to stretch out the offense a little bit more, and being able to support each other. Where Pittsburgh, they need to score points, they need to score fast, and I'm not sure if they'll be able to do that with this defense that's going to be Miami's going to be playing. So, if anything can help Pittsburgh right now, it'd be any kind of bad weather coming to the Northeast, and it's not happening either. So, I give this one to the ACC for future champions of Miami, and I think they're going to win 27-14.
Okay, cool, man. I hope Cristobal and Carson Beck get it done. The 11 p.m. a.m. Central game, and I love this game every year. 12 p.m. Eastern, Ohio State, Michigan. Jeremiah Smith, the wide receiver from Ohio State, probably will play with a lower body injury, which is probably an ankle injury. That's the way they do it in college. They don't tell you exactly what it is. No real word on Carnell Tate. That's the other big receiver for Ohio State. Best run defense in the country. Best defense in the Big Ten, Ohio State. But other than Texas and Illinois, who has Ohio State really beat? You can make the same argument for Michigan. They beat Nebraska this year. They got a true freshman quarterback, was the highest recruited player, this Bryce Underwood kid. But, you know, he's going against Matt Patricia's defense there. Wink Martindale, your boy Wink Martindale, still calling shots there in Michigan. It's going to be cold there also, but it's not going to be snowing or anything. The only way Michigan wins this game and extends this win streak to 5, this guy would probably have to have Underwood, I'm talking about the quarterback, 150 yards, maybe 2 touchdowns, no turnovers. They can make that happen. I don't think it's going to happen this year. I think this Julian Sain guy will probably make a few plays out of the passing game. 23-13, I think Ohio State will snap that losing streak, and this will set up, of course, if Indiana don't, blow it tonight against Purdue, which I don't think will happen. This will set up a huge matchup next week, man. Indiana, number 2 versus number 1 Ohio State in the Big Ten championship game. What's your thoughts about Ohio State, Michigan? Does Michigan upset Ohio State again after being big underdogs? They're 9.5-point underdogs.
Yeah. This game is for all the for all the beans, man. Like they gotta. Ohio State can't lose this game. They cannot. Michigan can afford to lose this game, and they'll be okay. But,
right, because nobody's really expecting Michigan this year to do anything.
Right, that's the only reason. So if I'm Ohio State, I got to be careful though, and then not keep this game close at all. I fired all cylinders, get my defense going, get some defensive stops, I get my offense going, score those 27-30 points, and just don't look back. But again, they're playing in Michigan, so the home field advantage doesn't. It's gonna affect this game a little bit, I think. But I really hope Ohio State can go out there and just knock the wind out of Michigan and quiet down that crowd, because they need to, man. If they want to keep this and the championship possibility and being able to win and get that first week break, they need this win. So it's gonna be a good one. I'm thinking that Ohio State is gonna win. They got like a few good players on offense. I hope that they take these guys and use them, because last time they had a number 1 wide receiver, they barely looked at him, and he ended up going in the draft and a high pick anyway. But they need to use these guys that they have.
What's the score going to be?
It's going to be. I don't want it to be close. Ohio State
23-13. Ohio State pulls away late, but
you have them. You have Michigan sticking with them that long?
Yeah. I think the fact that it's played in Michigan, maybe some special teams plays, running game.
I
Really
feel like
how good Ohio State really is, you know?
yeah, but can Michigan?
And there's a psychological effect that we've lost 4 straight to these guys. But then it didn't hurt Tennessee last week, but that's 20-year drought there, man. You know.
Man, look. No, I don't think so. I don't think this year, man. I don't think.
Think it's a blowout by Ohio State?
Yeah,
I say they covered the spread by 1 point.
I think maybe 32-21.
Okay.
I think
you thought it by 11. Okay, that's big. That's not that big a deal, but okay.
No, I mean,
I said Ohio State by 10. You say Ohio State by 11.
Yeah, no. I just think that they're gonna try to put more pressure on them offensively, and the defense is not gonna be able to catch up. So,
all right, let's go on to the NFL. Doing things a little bit backwards, folks. We're doing the 5 biggest games combined in the NFL and college due to the Thanksgiving schedule. Houston Texans at your Colts, 3.5-point favorites still, with the report that Daniel Jones has a fractured fibula in his leg. So, but he's going to play as a full participant practice this tonight and yesterday, or last time they practiced. Anthony Richardson's hurt, of course. If Jones does get hurt, Riley Leonard from where did he play at? Duke a few years ago or whatever. Where did he play at? No, from Notre Dame. Notre Dame. Riley Leonard, the rookie there from Notre Dame, who last team he played with, would get the play if something happens to Daniel Jones. That would be interesting. Meanwhile, C.J. Stroud is back for Houston. He will be playing. Missed the last 4 games with a concussion in that Denver game that you beat me in.
That question: do you think Stroud should start, even though this guy's over here playing better?
Mills is keeping them in games and winning, but Stroud, listen, they've won 2 years in a row up in Indianapolis with Stroud. I don't know why this happens, but he plays well in that RCA in Lucas Oil Field, or whatever you want to call it. That's the newer stadium. I actually like Houston, who got a lot of pressure on Daniel Jones or on Josh Allen last week. Got a lot of sacks there, 8 sacks to be exact. They go on the road and get the win, 26-20, due to Daniel Jones' injury. And Stroud plays well. Does he bring that juice to the offense like Joe Burrow did to Cincinnati? I think he does. And Houston gets the road win, 26-20 at Indianapolis. But, hey, Indianapolis is still leading the division, and they still got a pretty decent defense. What's your thoughts about the Colts there?
Yeah, I'm not big. I don't like either one of those teams, but I feel like any team that's going to come out and be better than last week will be the Texans. And I think that, and even getting their quarterback back, I don't think they should make that change. But even if they do make that change, I think this game is going to go to the Texans. That defense is young and fast and vibrant, and I like it.
Yeah,
I like what that coach is doing down there, and I think it's gonna be 24-14.
24-14. You like Houston. I like Houston. I wasn't sure where you were going to go with that one. Another interesting game.
Hold on a second, Robert. Can we be honest? Can we just say that the 3 best games already have happened, and the ones that are coming up are just a bunch of they got to play.
They just got to play. I really thought that the Kansas City.
What's the next game you're gonna call out? Like the Bills and the Steelers, maybe?
Yeah, Buffalo playing against Pittsburgh, both off of losses here. Steelers,
they're both doing terrible.
Listen to this: the Steelers are at home. They will have Aaron Rodgers back, but Buffalo, there came out today. Adam Schefter put this out. They're going to have both tackles out. Deion Dawkins is their best offensive lineman. That's the left tackle, and this guy named Spencer Brown, the right tackle. I mentioned this a second ago. Josh Allen sacked 8 times in that Thursday game on the road against the Texans. I looked at Pittsburgh defense, pretty healthy, and at home. They get after quarterbacks at home. We saw Daniel Jones. He probably got that injury in that game. They beat up on that Daniel Jones. Listen, I love the Bills. I don't like that coaching staff, and I don't like what they've done from a defensive standpoint. Now they're taking away Hercules, which is Josh Allen, his protection. I think the Steelers ease this one out. 23-20. Steelers win at home. If this were Buffalo, maybe give the edge to the Bills. But those tackles out, I know that they didn't play well with the tackles out on the road, but they're very good at home, and they need to win too. They're catching breaks. They can solidify a game lead there if they win. They go back ahead of the Ravens in the AFC North. 23-20 Steelers. And I think we have one more NFL game to talk about.
Yeah, I think that Josh Allen's going to try to wheel this game. Okay. I think it's going to come out to a tie. I don't think either team is going to win. I think it's going to go overtime, and I think both teams are so depleted in depth that they just going to kick field goals, and they're just going to make a tie out of this. To be honest,
what's that score going to be?
Probably like 24-24.
24-all. That's interesting to predict. We had a tie early this year between the Packers and the Cowboys. So crazier things can happen. Overtime happens. You predict overtime all the time. You always say 27-24. Hey, it could be a tie, dude.
These guys, I mean, Allen can score, but
so if Buffalo wins, you won't win, dude. It has to be a tie.
They both
loses. Or if Buffalo wins, I won't win either. We'll just call it a non.
I mean, you expect Rodgers to go out there and make 30+ points to win this game for the Steelers?
No, I just think that Steelers defense is going to hold them in the game. Oh, by the way, the Steelers will not have the right tackle Broderick Jones there, but you can run on the Bills. And the Bills, they only edge the Bills have in this game is they have a little bit of extra rest. That's not a big deal for me. The Steelers will probably win this game. It won't be great. They've matched up well against the Bills before. This will be a chippy game. It won't be a fun game. It'll be about what you said. And it could be a lower scoring game. It could be 12-11, a couple of safeties and stuff.
Oh, geez.
So, an interesting game would probably be that the 49ers and just to watch them play the Browns because of Shedeur Sanders. I didn't put that on the biggest games, but that'll be just to see how Shedeur does in the second game kind of game. But this game actually means something. The Rams against the Panthers. The Panthers, just when you write them off, the Panthers are still in the NFC South because Tampa keeps losing. And, they're at home against the Rams. The Rams could be caught looking ahead.
Yeah.
But the Panthers do have some injuries on their O-line as well. I mentioned at the beginning of the program, it's a battle of attrition this year. Their center's out. J.C. Horn, their best cornerback, is out. And Trayvon Morang is suspended for kicking Dwan Jennings in the groin area in the Monday night loss there to the 49ers, which we both picked there. I think the Rams get off to a slow start because it's an early start time in the Eastern time zone. But I do see them recovering and winning comfortably 30-16 over the Carolina Panthers. Technically, this is a big game because you've got a division leader and a league leader versus a team still trying to get their division and their only game back in the NFC South. What do you think about Panthers-Rams?
I think this game is going to be just like the Pittsburgh game as well. It's going to be slow and drawn because the running game is going to keep the Panthers in competition. But at the end of the day, the Rams team has more offensive power. They have more capability, and I see this game. It's going to be slow in the beginning, but they're probably going to pull out. This game is going to be about 28-17.
Okay, yeah, I think Puka Nacua or Devontae Adams have a pretty good game. Considering the fact J.C. Horn's out and their safety's out for kicking Dwan Jennings in the ground. Dirty mother effer. Do you have anything else you need to plug?
Now I've been working on trying to get everything together for this last for these winter meetings that's coming to MLB, and so I'm trying to get everything together for this podcast and put back up. I'm back in the mix of things. I'll be heading to Toronto in January with my son again.
Pokemon.
To Pokemon, yeah. So
keep us updated. Those are fun, man.
Yeah, you got to catch them all, bro. You got to catch them all. Like it's fun. It's it's something that him and I have been doing, and it's like this is season 2 for him. So he looks like he's focused and getting things done, and I'm proud of him. And he's keeping me moving and traveling and stuff. So it's a good thing, man. It's plus you're only gonna get experience like this once the kids grow up, and that's it. So
right. Carlos and the son doing Pokemon. Happy Thanksgiving weekend. Anything else you need to shout out? Oh, now you got yourself on mute.
I'm on mute.
Yeah. Now, what was you gonna say?
You guys got a lot of turkey like left in the refrigerator, man. Go ahead and put it in the freezer right now. You're not gonna eat it all, so just go ahead and start.
Turkey. All right, there, Carlos, man, New York. All right, there. Appreciate you, brother. Have a good weekend. I'll see you next week, and everybody else. I'll be back probably Tuesday or Wednesday live. Go over these games and give you some comments about championship games and everything in college going forth, and update my NFL Power 5. Have a good night, everybody. I'll see you next week. Same time, same place, here on The Real.